Hello, this is Business Now, reaching you live from iBrandTV News Studio in Lagos, Nigeria. Coming up, House of Reps summons Interior Minister, immigration boss over foreign missions visa passport contracts. Share price of 32 firms rise as investors in the Nigerian stock market gain 260 billion naira. And UN unearths $22 billion untapped export potential in Africa. China cut its lending benchmark loan prime rate for the first time in 20 months. Glad to have you join us, and here are the business stories making headlines at this hour. I am Omobolanle Adeshui. The House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts has criticized the Nigerian Immigration Service for engaging consultants to manage visa and passport-related matters at Nigerian missions across the world. Consequently, the committee summoned the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Shoaib Belgar, and the Acting Comptroller General of the NIS, Idris Jerry, to appear before it on Wednesday to address the issue. The committee issued the summons on Friday when an Assistant Comptroller General in charge of budget, Olubusola Fashakin, appeared before the committee to represent Jerry over a query issued by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation against the NIS. The chairman of the committee, Oluwole Oke, queried the engagement of consultants to manage passport and visas platform. According to him, the arrangement costs Nigeria a lot of money and should be stopped immediately, since the country has personnel who have been adequately trained to carry out the same functions. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to issue an immediate moratorium on borrowing by the federal government and the 36 states to address a systemic debt crisis, prevent retrogressive economic measures, and the disproportionately negative impact of unsustainable debt on the poor Nigerians. This is coming barely a few days after the National Assembly approved President Buhari's request of $5.8 billion and a grant of $10 million. The legislature's previous loan approval in 2021 alone included $8.3 billion, 490 million euros, and $6.1 billion. The foreign debt stock of the federal government, 36 states, and the Federal Capital Territory reportedly stands at $37.9 billion. Investors in the Nigerian stock market gained 260 billion naira as 32 firms saw their share prices rise at the end of trading last week. The Nigerian Exchange Limited All-Share Index and market capitalization appreciated by 1.12% and 1.16% to close the week at 42,353.31 and 22.11 trillion naira, respectively. A total turnover of 1.32 billion shares worth 15.3 billion naira in 18,292 deals was traded last week by investors on the floor of the exchange, in contrast to a total of 2.63 billion shares valued at 26.9 billion naira that exchanged hands in 20,848 deals the previous week. The financial services industry, measured by volume, led the activity chart with 899.7 million shares valued at 7.3 billion naira traded in 9,326 deals, thus contributing 68.3% and 47.78% to the total equity turnover volume and value, respectively. Given the recent growth the Nigerian economy has experienced, it is expected that the growth would fully outperform the World Bank's GDP growth forecast of 1.8% in 2021 to 2.5% in full year 2022. This forecast was made by socio-economic research firm SBM Intelligence in its recent report titled, quote, "The Year Ahead 2022, Wiggling Out of the Rubble," end of quote, as it states that due to Nigeria's high borrowing rate, inflation is expected to rise from third quarter of 2022. However, expected fuel subsidy replacement with a direct transfer of 5,000 naira monthly to subsidize the poor on transport is unlikely to take off. Nigeria will be unable to afford this expense in its current fiscal trajectory. The Debt Management Office says the federal government is implementing several reforms to attract more investment into the country. The Director General, DMO, Ms. Patience Oniha, said this during the third edition of Coronation Merchant Bank's virtual interactive session series, themed, quote, Nigeria moving beyond COVID-19, opportunities for investors, end of quote. While delivering the keynote address, she said the Nigerian economy remained resilient despite economic and social headwinds elicited by the pandemic. According to her, the composition and diversification of the country's gross domestic product and revenue base make for stable growth going forward.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's through unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores nationwide.
The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, claims the Republic of Benin, Niger Republic and Togo made no payment for the electricity supplied to them from Nigeria in the second quarter of 2021. In its just released second quarter report 2021, the NEC stated that the power firm of the three nations and some other special customers were issued a total bill of 770 million naira by the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading Company and the market operator of the Transmission Company of Nigeria. It, however, noted that nothing was paid by the neighboring countries and other special customers for the power supplied to them from Nigeria during the period. The federal government has released a 1 billion naira seed grant to Nasarawa, Plateau, Adamawa and Kaduna State for the development of pilot ranches in their domains as part of measures to halt clashes between herders and farmers. The fund was released after about 22 state governors indicated interest in developing ranches in their states. On October 27, 2021, no fewer than 22 states had written to the federal government to indicate interest in the National Livestock Transformation Program. Following incessant clashes between farmers and herders, the federal government in 2018 came up with various ranching models, including Ruga and the NLTP, to settle nomadic herdsmen who are mostly Fulani. The Central Bank of Nigeria will disburse 41 billion naira through Heritage Bank PLC to farmers across different states for the expansion of wheat production to meet high demand amid poor production capacity. Heritage Bank said in a statement the fund would consummate the expansion of wheat seed multiplication project as part of the CBN's Brown Revolution initiative, an intervention program to flag off and support the commencement of dry season wheat farming across Nigeria. Speaking on the initiative, the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, said the move was part of the Apex Bank's intervention to address the challenges in the wheat value chain, thereby increasing the domestic output. He said the program would benefit over 150,000 farmers and would be implemented in 15 states on about 180,000 hectares of land. And the federal government has entered into partnership with Agence Française de Développement on the decarbonization of the Nigerian economy as part of measures to mitigate climate change effects. The Minister of State for Environment, Chief Sharon Ikeazo, disclosed this at the recent inauguration and inception workshop of the Nigeria Deep Decarbonization Project in Abuja. She explained that the Deep Decarbonization Project Nigeria was a national research and capacity building project for the implementation of the program and in Nigeria. The minister said the purpose of the inauguration and inception work was to present the DDP project to the larger community of stakeholders to begin conversation on the scenarios and modeling options that could help Nigeria achieve its stated long-term climatic objectives. The National Pension Commission, PENCOM, says it is committed to ensuring that all pensioners under the Contributory Pension Scheme, CPS, are fully recaptured and uniquely identified on the database to ensure that only bona fide retirement savings account RSA holders have access to their contributions. Head National Data Bank Management Department, PENCOM, Grace Usoro, said the data recapture exercise for government agencies remained critical for the Commission, adding that it would continue until the Commission ensures that the last contributor that registered before the cutoff date of July 2019 has been fully recaptured. About 9,000 contributors will be required to update their information in order to remain eligible for RSA. And in furtherance of its efforts to mitigate the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, has renewed the revised offshore cargo handling and operations stevedoring rates contained in the second schedule of the NIMASA Stevedoring Regulations 2014. The renewal of the rates, which had been reviewed downward, is for a period of 6 months. Director General NIMASA, Dr. Bashir Jamo, said renewal of the reviewed stevedoring rate was in line with the agency's determination to make the best of a bad situation caused by the pandemic. The micro, small and medium-scale enterprises in the country will remain stagnant and may not grow with the current lack of access to affordable finance and top-notch training programs. The Director General of the Small and Medium-Scale Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, Diko Rather, made this known in Abuja. He also lamented the huge capacity deficit in key institutions with direct mandate to implement the recommendations in the national policy on MSMEs. He stated, and I quote, "Government at both national and state levels have in the past provided some form of financial interventions, but with little impact. The need to robustly address the funding challenge obviously needs special study or research to be conducted." End of quote. The Tin Can Island Command of the Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) has intercepted a container loaded with guns and ammunition at the Tin Can Island Port Complex, Lagos. The container was reportedly declared as plasma television, but on examination, customs discovered it to be loaded with cartons of guns. Confirming the development to newsmen, Public Relations Officer of the Tin Can Customs, Uche Ejesieme, said the command was briefed by its officers about the case of the gun import. The clearing license used to clear cargo was reportedly commercialized. This means that the clearing agent owning the license sublet it for a fee of another person to use. AJCMS said further examinations are being made to confirm the quantity, adding that information is still sketchy at the moment. Still to come, UK shoppers avoid high street over fears of Omicron. Details and more after this commercial break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's through unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores nationwide.
On the African scene, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, has revealed that Africa's current untapped export potential amounts to $21.9 billion, equivalent to 43% of intra-African exports. UNCTAD, in its latest report on economic development in Africa, said an additional $9.2 billion of export potential could be realized through partial tariff liberalization under the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, over the next 5 years. However, the UN body emphasized that long-term cooperation in investment and competition policies will be essential to overcoming market dominance by few factors and to reduce structural and regulatory barriers to market entry. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, says its executive board has approved the disbursement of $258 million to Kenya. The IMF said in a statement the board's decision on the disbursement would bring total IMF financial support under Kenya's Extended Fund Facility and Extended Credit Facility programs to $973 million. According to the IMF, Kenya showed remarkable resilience to the COVID shock in 2020 and is staging an economic recovery. Growth is now estimated to accelerate to 5.9% in 2021. And moving on to the international scene, China cut its lending benchmark loan prime rate, LPR, for the first time in 20 months on Monday in a bid to prop up growth in the slowing economy, although it remains wary of loosening conditions in the country's highly leveraged property market. The one-year LPR was lowered by 5 basis points to 3.8% from 3.85% previously, while the 5-year LPR remained at 4.65%. The reduction marks the first LPR cut since April 2020. Most new and outstanding loans in China are based on the one-year LPR, while the 5-year rate influences the pricing of home mortgages. And also on the foreign scene, UK shoppers chose to avoid high street and city centers on the crucial weekend just before Christmas amid fears over the Omicron COVID-19 variant. The number of people on high street fell by 5.9% on Sunday but rose to 4.8% at retail parks week on week, retail analysis firm Springboard said. Springboard's Diane Weller said consumers were clearly cautious about venturing out the shops. Shoppers were also making quick in and out visits, another expert added. Wells said in part this was due to shoppers trying to get a head start in buying groceries, while also preferring the COVID-friendly nature of retail parks. Up next is entertainment business.
Welcome to Entertainment Business News. My name is Agogo Ayanago. Spider-Man No Way Home racked up a head-spinning $253 million in U.S. and Canadian ticket sales over the weekend, setting a pandemic record and ranking as the third biggest domestic debut in Hollywood history, even as a new COVID-19 variant spreads. Around the globe, No Way Home generated an additional $334.2 million for a worldwide weekend total of $587.2 million, according to estimates from distributor Sony Corporation. The blockbuster returns delivered a much-needed jolt to cinema companies such as AMC Entertainment, Cinemark, and Cineworld that have struggled to draw crowds during the pandemic. The emergence of the Omicron variant has sparked new concerns. U.S. and Canadian ticket sales crossed the most optimistic projections from last week when analysts deemed $200 million a long shot. No Way Home finished just behind Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War and ahead of the Star Wars film The Force Awakens. Cinemark said ticket sales for No Way Home was especially strong in the United States and Latin America and on large format screens. Moving on, the Netherlands has followed Denmark and put all its cinema back into lockdown as part of new measures aimed at stemming the spread of the coronavirus. The Dutch government announced the new measures, which took effect Sunday morning in a bid to preempt an expected surge of COVID-19 cases as the new Omicron variant of the virus spreads across the country. The lockdown, which began at 5 a.m. local time Sunday morning, is set to run until January 14, applies to all cultural institutions as well as schools, universities, and non-essential shops. The Netherlands had been under a COVID curfew, with cinemas and other institutes required to shut between 5 p.m. and 5 a.m. Ahead of the Dutch decision, the Danish government, citing a spike in COVID cases, closed all its cinemas until January 17th. Ireland, while keeping theaters open, has tightened restrictions requiring cinemas to close by 8 p.m. Theaters in the rest of Europe, including the region's largest territories of the UK, France, Germany, Spain, and Italy, remain open. But with COVID cases rising across the continent, many fear more countries will soon introduce restrictions and lockdown measures. Last fall, a new wave of COVID-19 infections pushed governments across Europe to shutter cinemas. That's all we have for you on Entertainment Business today. My name is Agogo Ayanago.
Thank you, Agogo. Next is sports business.
France's top football body is set to follow in the footsteps of La Liga by selling a stake in its media rights. Ligue de Football Professionnel, which oversees Ligue 1 and Ligue 2, has received around 10 bids to purchase 10% to 15% of a new company that holds the league's media assets. Proposals have valued the league at $10.2 billion to $14.1 billion. Some top out around $1.7 billion for the bidding firm's stake. French private equity firms including Adyen and BPI made offers, as did American firms CVC, Advent and Bain Capital. Ligue 1 could award the entire stake to one firm or divide it among multiple bidders. The deal could also lead to more funds directed to Paris Saint-Germain and Olympique Marseille, Ligue 1's two most popular teams, with each of them under 10% earning the league's media revenue. And still talking sports business in the basketball world, Golden State Warriors talisman Stephen Curry is getting in on the non-fungible token trend to commemorate breaking the NBA's all-time three-point record. The Golden State Warriors star is selling an FFT collection starting on Monday with a sale price of $499. A total of 2,974, the number of his record-breaking three-pointer will be made available to the public. Each NFT will showcase a specific three-pointer that Curry has made during his career. Curry has disclosed he is donating all proceeds from the NFT sales to his Eat, Learn and Play Foundation. Curry became the NBA's all-time three-point king last Tuesday during Golden State Warriors' 105-96 points win over the New York Knicks at the Madison Square Garden. And that's it on Sports Business. I'm Samson Oloide.
All right, it's a wrap on business news. Thank you so much for watching. I am Omobolanle Adeshui, and from all of us here, it's bye for now.